It's time for number 52 in my series of video game movie reviews, with an adaptation of a mobile game that everybody may have played that one time but doesn't really remember anything about. So will it surprise us with its unexpected high quality and end up being one of the greatest video game movies ever made? Sure. Dead Trigger is brought to us by directors Mike Cuff and Scott Windhauser, and stars Dolph Lundgren and some other people. It's the year something something something, and some time ago, apparently a zombie virus broke out and is spread across the earth. Some places are worse than others apparently, but everywhere's not doing so hot. We follow a group of young characters that are drafted by the military for reasons. Some of them can fight, some of them are good at video games, and others are, you know, their parents died from the zombies, and then there's some that just seemingly stand and look out into the expanse with a sword. That's her talent, I guess. I don't really know, but they do recruit all these kids to be Dead Triggers. Dead Triggers are apparently a special forces section of the military that deal with zombies, though I would think that all branches of the military in a zombie apocalypse would deal with zombies. But apparently we just have Dead Triggers, which are all young kids with absolutely no fucking experience. Sure, why not? When a distress call from a scientist that's working on a cure comes from within the highly infected Terminal City, the Dead Triggers are called into action to go into Terminal City, rescue the scientist, and secure the cure. Oh yeah, and Dolph Lundgren's along with them, because he's like in charge of them or something, I guess. I don't know. He's there, he shows up, he says some shit, and he kills some fucking zombies. Dead Trigger is based on a mobile game that you have probably played like when you first got a new phone because it was free, but you never really played it again. For mobile games, at the time at least, it was a pretty game. It was fairly simple, and as I said, it was free. So a lot of people played it, but pretty much everybody I know that ever played it, myself included, once you played it, you really only played it once or twice and moved on to other bigger and better things. Nothing against the game, it's just not terribly memorable. I've vaguely, like very, very vaguely remember this game. So as far as what this movie has to do with the game, beyond there being zombies and you're shooting them, I don't really know. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it probably doesn't have a whole lot more to do with it beyond that. Because that's all this movie pretty much is anyway, is zombies and people shooting them. The story's just, who the fuck cares? You don't care. This movie's bad. You would be forgiven if you thought Uwe Boll made a triumphant return and directed this movie. He didn't, but that should tell you about what kind of movie this is. Which kind of sucks because this movie came out in 2017, and by that point, I thought we were done with the cheapo shit video game movies. That's not to say all video game movies that came out during this time period or are coming out now are great, but it seems like that they're no longer cheap. They might have lackluster stories, but they all at least look good and like have decent enough acting in them now. But not Dead Trigger. It is a callback to the early 2000s video game movies. I'm gonna make a bold blanket statement about this movie, and that is there's just not really anything that's very good about this movie. Story-wise, it just drug the fuck on, and you gave no shits. Never at any time did I give a fuck about anything that was going on screen. I had to force myself to pay attention to this movie. I kept on like wanting to do something else while I was watching this movie. I didn't. I paid attention because I wanted to make sure that I gave this movie a fair shake. But fuck you, movie, you didn't deserve that fair shake. Who gave me a fair shake when I sat down to watch this piece of shit? Why was this movie made? Who said Dead Trigger? You know, that real super deep story in this mobile game. We need to make that into a fucking movie. Who? I mean, like, really, I want a name. I want to know who had this initial idea, because I want to write them a strongly worded fucking letter. You son of a bitch, you wasted an hour and a half of my time. Not only did you waste an hour and a half of my time, you made an hour and a half of my life fucking just mind-numbingly boring. This was more of a waste of fucking time had I just done nothing. Just sat in a fucking corner and stared at the wall for an hour and a half. Would have been more productive than watching this fucking movie. I gained abso-fucking-lutely nothing from watching this movie. I try not to be too harsh on movies. I try not to trash them. I try and find the good in movies. And I've had people criticize me for that. I'll watch a movie and I may not like it, but I can usually pick something out and say, you know, I didn't like this movie, but that thing right there, hey, they did that good. The movie may not have been for me, but that was good. Good job on you, movie. That's not the case here. There isn't shit here that's good. You did nothing right. Not a fucking thing. This is one of the most boring fucking movies I've seen in a long time. It's so boring that it's not even boring. It's like it's not even on. I could not, like, it was a struggle to just pay attention, to not do something, to not do anything else. I would have rathered stare out the fucking window the entire time. But I had to, like, keep making myself, like, Clockwork Orange style watch this movie because I just could not pay the fuck attention. God damn, it's just fucking bad, man. It's so fucking dull. I mean, I guess it's half-ass put together. The editing is not just like fucking god awful. It ain't great, but it's very basic, and it's functional. I'll give it that. It's functional. The movie doesn't particularly look good, that's for sure. It looks okay, but just like, I'll say the editing is functional. There you go. That's about as much as you can get from me here, movie. Performance-wise, I mean, come on, really? What do you think? What do you think I'm gonna say here? Come on, who doesn't know what the fuck I'm gonna say here? Especially given everything I've said up to this point. What are you guys thinking the performances were like in this movie? Whatever you just thought of, it's fucking worse. This is Uwe Boll video game movie performances. But at least in the case of some of Uwe Boll's video game movies, the acting may be fucking atrocious, but it's like so bad it's good. It's so out there that it's just kind of entertaining how bad it is. Here, it's just fucking bad. It's just dull like everything else and just drab, and you give no fucks. I cannot remember one single fucking character's name in this movie. I just know Dolph Lundgren's in it, and I don't know what his fucking name was. He's just Dolph Lundgren. He's like the colonel or the captain of the team or whatever. That's it. I don't remember anything else. I can't put my finger on any one person and say, oh, this one was worse than that one, or that one was better. Nobody was better than anybody. They're all just worse. There's no standouts. They all stand out. The entire movie's performances stand out as absolute utter shit. That's where the performances sit for this movie. Just absolute utter shit. Especially for 2017 when this came out, there's abso-fucking-lutely no reason for this movie to be this bad. I would say it's just to make a buck, but at this point, I think people are pretty wise to the fact that video game movies aren't always of the highest quality. They learned circa 2010, 11, 12 that releasing those super low quality shit video game movies just didn't work anymore. You ain't getting people anymore. Now, from a technical perspective, no surprise here, the movie's not that great either. The look, the music, most of the effects, just pretty much everything here is pretty shitty as well. Now, I will say there are one or two effects that just, like, I think by accident don't look too bad. There's a headshot that we get kind of near the beginning of the film, which is actually kind of humorous and looks okay. I don't think it's humorous because they necessarily meant it to be, and if they did mean it to be, that's not why it's humorous. It's humorous because of how bad it is. But the actual effect isn't too bad. It is really quick, and maybe that's what helped it. There's a handful of other CGI effect shots, which is pretty much all the effects in this movie, that are okay. They're passable. If all the effects in this movie were up to that level, I'd at least say, hey, the effects here are okay. But most of the effects here stand out like a sore fucking thumb. Pretty much all of the blood splatter in the movie is CGI, and I'm pretty sure I could have done it on my fucking laptop. This is some really low quality shit blood splatter. Just all the effects, with the exception of that very small amount that I talked about a moment ago, are just shit here. And those might be shit, but they're just like really quick, and the way that they frame them might make them look better. And good on them for doing that. But the actual effect is possibly shit. But I wasn't gonna rewind the goddamn movie and put myself through this any longer to make sure. I just rolled with it and said, okay, just in the moment, that looked okay. But I'm not gonna go back to like check and see if it's any good. The score as well seems like it came off of the YouTube copyright free collection. Which I mean, nothing against the music that is on the copyright free section of this website. But let's be real, for a movie, most of it doesn't quite hold up. In fact, I've heard better music on that part of this website than this fucking movie, honestly. That's actually doing the copyright-free section of YouTube a disservice. This movie's score is so just forgettable that it's just that. It's fucking forgettable. It, like everything else in the movie, is just dull, boring, and pretty much shit. The movie doesn't really look very good either. I mean, it's shot with natural lighting, it looks like, which is great if you know how to shoot in natural lighting. If you don't, you get fucking dead trigger. Just overall, from a technical perspective, this movie's just bad. It's beyond bad, it's just pretty much shit. Guys, that's about all I've got in me to talk about this movie. I don't really want to waste any more of my time on this piece of shit flick. I don't really have to rattle off all the things that were good or bad about it, because there's not any good. It's all just bad. Just pick a category from this movie. Performances, the way it looks, technical, story, just the whole fucking thing, just whatever. Pick whatever category you want and just say bad, because that's the fucking answer. This movie was a waste of my fucking time, and I will never watch it again, and I don't expect any of you to ever fucking watch it. But if you do, that's on you, because I told you so. Because Dead Trigger is absolutely 100% unequivocally a motherfucking dumpster fire. This movie sucked. Like bad. I doubt people were lining up to watch it anyway, but just take it from me. If it ever shows up for free somewhere or whatever, if you have an opportunity to watch this monstrosity, just fucking don't. I don't care if you got time to kill. If you got time to kill, go do anything else. Really, anything else is better than watching this fucking movie. Pulling your toenails out with fucking pliers is better than watching this fucking movie. Just believe me, do not watch this movie. It is not worth your time. It's gonna piss you off, or you probably just won't even make it through it because you'll be so fucking bored out of your goddamn mind. So there it is, guys, my review of Dead Trigger. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you like what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, fuck off, Terminal City.
All right, Dead Triggers, show me what you can do.
So what's next on the video game movie review list? Oh my god. I've almost done it. I'm actually skipping forward a couple because I've actually done what's next in line. But once I get done with this tour de force, that's it. That's all of them. Every theatrically released or sequel to a theatrically released video game movie ever made. I'm almost there. It's right within reach. 2 years in the making. So what the fuck am I gonna do on Wednesdays now?